Hi there, Jamie here today at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to show you how to get started with OneNote. More specifically, I want to show you how to use OneNote for desktop because there's a difference between the versions that are currently out there. You have OneNote for Windows 10 and then you have just OneNote, and that's the one I'm focusing on today. Some of the features I really like about this one is the ability to save your notebooks locally. So what I mean by this, when you go ahead and start a new notebook, when you go to new, you can see you have the options right here to save right on your PC. So if security reasons are an issue to you, take a look at this one. The other thing I like that you can do is that you can export your OneNote. So whether it be a page, a section, or a whole notebook, you can export them and send it to someone, and that person can just open it up and do what they want with what you have sent them. So today on Teachers Tech, I want to show you how to get started with OneNote, kind of the basics of starting your first notebook, setting it up right, and then getting into some note taking. But this will be a series of OneNote here for desktop. So there'll be a number of different videos that I'll put down below in the description up in the card. Let's get started with how to use OneNote for desktop. So to start with, I just want to mention that everything in this video will be timestamped. So take a look below at the description, then you can jump to different parts of the video if you're looking for something specifically. Now let's go ahead and open OneNote, and I'm on Windows 11 here, and I'm just going to go to my search. You can see OneNote right here, but I'm going to type in OneNote just to show you that I have two different OneNote apps on my computer. I have OneNote for Windows 10 and OneNote. This tutorial will be on this one. I do have other tutorials for OneNote for Windows 10, so if you're using that, I'll put a link to that in the description and up above in the card, and I go over a series on how to use it. But here I'm going to be looking at this one. I do want to mention that over this next year that Microsoft will be merging them into one version, and they're going to be taking parts from this Windows 10 and putting it into this OneNote app. So let's go ahead and open up OneNote here, and let's get started with creating our first notebook and looking where we can save it. So before we get started creating our notebooks and sections and pages, I just want to give you a little walk around OneNote. And if you're familiar with Microsoft products like Word or PowerPoint or Excel, the experience will be very similar. Up top, for instance, if I click on Home, this is a tab. Underneath is the ribbon. So if I'm mentioning ribbon, that's what I'm talking about. If I say go to the Insert tab, take a look at the ribbon, I'm under the Insert ribbon. You can change, if you don't want to be seeing this all the time, you have some quick ways to change this. If I just drop down here under the ribbon display settings, I could go to Show Tabs Only. So if I do that, the ribbon is gone now. But if I click on, for an example, Draw, the ribbon comes back. If I click off, it goes away again. If you want to turn this back on, if I right click up here, notice that it says collapse the ribbon. If I uncheck this, then it's back on, and I'll leave this on for today's tutorial. If you want to customize the ribbon, and I'm not going to get into that very much right now, but if you right click anywhere in the ribbon, you can go to customize here. Notice that we have collapse also here. I'm going to click in. Under all of this, you get all the OneNote options right through here, but here's the customized ribbon if you wanted to create any new groups and add any of these tools, but I'll talk about that in a later video. Now, another thing that you can do that maybe makes things a little bit easier is to use the quick access toolbar. So I'm going to drop down here again and show quick access toolbar. If I click on it, this just opened right here. Now I can put some tools in there that I can get quick access to. So if I drop down right here, I don't have any in it yet, I could go to, let's do this one, touch mouse mode. Now maybe today you're following along on a touch computer and you're using that. If I go and click on this, go to touch, what it does is spreads out the ribbon a little bit more, so it makes it easier to use your finger to select different parts, gives a little bit more space between it. Now I'm going to be just using my mouse today in today's tutorial. I could go and customize this a little bit more. So I could go and take a look at all these. Maybe I want undo and maybe I want redo. If I go back to what I showed you before, I'm just right clicking customize the ribbon, take a look at this quick access bar. So I could add things from right here. If there's some of these that you know that you're using a lot, you could go ahead and maybe you're doing the screen clipping lots. I could add it here, hit OK, and now I can do a screen clipping. So you can customize the setup of how you want. Now I'm going to click on the File tab up top, and it brings me to this screen. And again, if you're used to Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel, this is going to look very similar. When I create a new notebook, I am going to be selecting new here in a moment, but I do want to point out that here under the account, you can see the account that I'm logged into. I could sign out of this account. I could have multiple accounts open where I could jump back and forth between different ones to switch accounts. So depending on what you want to use. If you're not logged in, the changes that you're making, customizations won't be saved to any account. And if you are backing up to the cloud, you won't be able to do that if you're not logged in. Down below, if you want to pick some themes, so here, if you like the dark theme like this, if you can see it a little bit better, you can quickly change here. I'm just going to leave it in the white theme for today, but you pick what works best for you. We do have options at the bottom. When I click on that, this also brings me to the OneNote options that I showed you before. Different ways to get to things. Customized ribbon, quick access are here, you can see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, go over to file. So let's go ahead and create our first notebook. You can see before I did have that one notebook that I did have open just so I could show you different things, but I'm going to hit new here. And this is where you have your options. Where do you want to create it? So you need to kind of create it before you can open it up. And I want to be on this PC. I could go to my OneDrive if I wanted to save it in the cloud, but if you want to save it locally, choose a place on your PC. Make sure that you're saving it in a place that's not, if you are backing up files to the cloud on your computer, if you're trying to avoid the cloud, try to pick one that's not going to be synced with the cloud. So for my purposes today, I'm going to go ahead with this documents here, and I'm going to go, I have a folder that I created, OneNote at this point. So I'm going to go and create a new one. And what I'm going to do is call this demo here. So I'm going to call demo, and I'm going to hit create. So now you can see I've created my first notebook. It's called demo. I have a section that it just creates over here, and then pages. So if you're thinking about this as a book, this would be the book, and we kind of have chapters in each, and then we have pages in each of ours that we can add more and more. All right, so let's go see some other things that we can do right away. All your different notebooks you'll be able to see right through here. So right now I had that first one that I was already open to. I can switch over to that notebook and see any information in it and drop down to here. Notice that it's very quick from here to create a notebook. If I go add notebook here, it brings me right back to where I showed you before. So the other thing I want to point out is that you can close your notebooks by just right-clicking on any of these. Notice if you go ahead and close the notebook, so I'm going to click on it, that didn't delete it. Even though you don't see it here, it's not deleted. I'll show you how you can delete it if you've decided, oh, you want that off. But if I go over back to File and hit Open, now, where was that one? It should be in my quick ones. You can see here, demo right here, and then it's loading up from my computer. Again, if I right click on it, you can see I have different options. If I share this notebook, the only way I could be sharing this, I would have to upload this to OneDrive and share it from there if I was doing it that way. I'll talk about the exporting it a little later on. Now, if you wanted to delete it, what you could do is go ahead and right click on it and close it. If I just open up my File Explorer here, and I want to point out, if we go to the documents, and I'm just going to show you in that folder, OneNote, here is the demo that I just created. Inside of this is the two different, you can see it was the section and the open notebook here. Now, if I wanted to delete this, I could go ahead and delete this. I'll just hit in the garbage and it will be gone. So if I try to go back again and open up demo, it won't be there. So it is deleted from that spot now. So I'm going to go to this and drop down and add a new notebook again, and I'll just go ahead and save it on this PC. And I'm also going to call this just demo again, hit create, and then I have a new one that I called the same thing, but that's how you go about kind of switching from notebooks or deleting notebooks. So let's say you decided to change let's say you wanted to change the name of your notebook. You didn't want it to be called demo, like I called it. I'm going to just right click on this and going to the options, I'm going to the properties, and I'm going to decide, I decided to change this to YouTube, right, like this. So this is going to be my YouTube videos. Pink, no, I don't want it to be pink. I'm going to drop down and I can change it to a different color very quickly like this. Notice that I can change the location on it, but I'm going to leave it like this and hit OK. So now I've changed my notebook. So what are some sections that I might want in this notebook? Well, let's think about the different topics for myself that I usually work within. So I could, and I don't want this to be called new section 1, I'm going to right click on this one and I'm going to go and hit rename just like this, and this is going to be Microsoft, just like this. So I'm going to put all my different my video ideas in here. So I have this tab, and then I'll be working with pages inside of this tab. So over here I have my pages. So what might be my first one that I'm looking at. So as I hit add pages, you can see it adds another one. I'm not titling them. I could go at any time and just title them very quickly as I click on any of the pages and then type a name to this page. So let's say this one is going to be all about the different OneNote videos I'm going to make. I name it over here, and now it's over here. So if I go to here, oh, these are my Excel ideas that I'm going to put here, and maybe this will be my Word, and we'll say PowerPoint also. Just like that. So I can create all these different pages. I have it under a section. So maybe I have a different section, and I also do Google videos. So I'll put Google here. And I could right click, and again, all the different options that where I could be deleting on these ones. I could create a new section group, section color. So maybe for this one, I'll put it red, this color. So I can quickly customize them to be able to just glance at what I want, and I can switch back and forth. Here I have 4 different pages in here. If I go over to Google, I can go and add different pages. So maybe this is going to be, I'm just going to type here, this will be Gmail, this one will be about Drive. So you can create all these different pages inside of this and having all these different sections, but then you'd probably have different notebooks too. So if you're a student, maybe you have one for math, you have another one for sciences, you have another one for social studies. So all these different options that you can start to organize all your different things that you're trying to just keep track of. So that's a little bit about kind of the structure of the notebooks, of the sections, and of the pages. Microsoft OneNote is a very powerful digital note-taking app, and I'm just touching the surface of it today. Now we're at the part where we can be adding content or collecting information to OneNote, and this is kind of the meat and potatoes of it here. But there's so much more you can do to help keep organized. Again, keep watching for those future videos. But in this case, maybe I just want to type in, I have some ideas about some videos I wanted to create in Excel. Maybe I want to create a new one on pivot tables. I could click anywhere in here, and then anywhere I click, I get my flashing cursor. I can go ahead and type. So if I was going to put pivot tables, I can go ahead and just type it in. If I click off of it, I can go back. I get the move handle, and I can move this all around. I can go and customize this font very quickly. If I highlight it, notice that I get the options here where I could be changing my font if I wanted a different one. I could be changing the size to it. I could be changing the color, all those different options that you have, when you're just working in Microsoft Word. But you can also add quick things like a checkbox if it's maybe a to-do list that you're doing, and tags. So tags are a very powerful part of this OneNote app, and I am going to get into a different video explaining the tags a little bit more, but they're super easy to add here. You can see all the different options. So maybe this is just an important checklist here. If I look under the Home tab up top and look into the ribbon, those same options that I was showing you are up here. And take a look, we even have find tags. So if you are tagging correctly, you could go ahead and search for them. That's something important as you get lots of different pages in here. So it's very easy to add. You could go ahead, add more text. If I was going to go make another, maybe a beginner's tutorial, I could go ahead and just type that note to myself like so. And you can see it picks up the spelling when it's a mistake. I could go ahead and correct it. Now, super easy to add text to it, but you can add so much more. So for an example, if I just I'm going to drag this over here, and I could go grab a video. So maybe this one right here, this is off my YouTube page. I'm just going to copy the link address, and I'm going to right click and paste it. There's the link, there's the video. I can even hit play inside of this just like this, and you can see it's going to play. Hi there, Jamie here today. The YouTube video here. So maybe I'm collecting all my thoughts. I'm adding videos to this. I have different text, but you can even add things like pictures. So if I copy image, I can go ahead and paste that image over here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. So I have a few different things. I have this image here that I've just copied paste. I can change the size of this now. I can move it around and drag it in different places. I can organize this the way I want. So if you're thinking maybe this is for your notes for studying, or maybe things they're planning a vacation and you're putting all these different things you're finding into different pages and how you're sorting it out. Because if you go back to any of these pages, I could right click. Notice that I can go to move or copy a page also. So if I select it, where do I want to move it? So maybe I was collecting information here and I decided to make another notebook all about Excel. I could maybe make it over there, select it, and copy or move it to that spot too. So remember always to right click to check the different options that you have too. You get all this information, pictures and videos onto your pages. You can go and even mark it up by drawing. And if you're working on a device that you can be using the pen or using your finger to draw, I'm just using my mouse here. But if I go to the draw, I can go and pick different tools here. If I drop down, you can see from thickness and everything. If I pick this one, I can go and start marking things up on this where I can quickly change the color. And picking my highlight if I wanted to be a little bit thicker here, and you can see I'll just hit OK, and I can begin marking up all these things. We have shapes that we can quickly insert in also. If you just take a look, here's the basic shapes. I am going to do a different video again talking about some of the key features in here, even with ink to shape or ink to math, but go ahead and give it a try to play with some of these things, but keep watching for those other videos too. Now I'm going to go to a different tab, and that's the Insert tab, because I want to point out you can insert things like tables. I'm going to go to this new page just so you can see better. I'm going to go and select a table. Now I have this. I can insert the table. As soon as I click in here, and notice that I'm still drawing, that's because I need to go to my draw and I need to go back to the type on it. I forgot to change that. So if you're still drawing, that's what happened there. I'm going to select this. I can position this differently too, but I am just going to hit delete and get rid of it. I have a dot there too that I'm going to also delete, just like this. So now with this table, as soon as if I go back to my insert, notice when if I select my table, I get this option up here. I have this tab, new tab that shows up, and I can do all these different options to the table to it. Some other things under insert that you can put in, you can see file printout, file attachment, spreadsheets, screen clipping. So if I was going to go, and I'm going to just drag this over here again, just the corner of it, just like this, and I could use the screen clipping here, but remember I got the shortcut here. I could pick it, maybe I'm searching for something, it goes gray. What I can do is select an area that I want, I'll just do this, and it clips a part of the screen and puts it right in. I can change my size, move it around on it very quickly. What I like doing, if you have certain files, and you could go file attachment here and open them up, or what you can do is drag them over. So for an example, here's a PowerPoint presentation. I could drag it in, insert printout. So this is what, if I go insert printout, you can see what it's going to do is it puts it in like the PowerPoint. So this would be great if you're studying something you have, or someone gave you a PowerPoint, then you could be going through and using the draw option and marking it up and maybe taking more notes on it. If I go, I'm going to go to this PowerPoint one. If I went and dragged a PDF, it gives me an attachment or printout. If you don't want to see the whole thing, if I go to attach file, it just leaves it as an option like this, which will open the PDF up after on it. So thinking about files, they could be Microsoft Word, they could be all these different options, drag them over, or you can go ahead and insert the attachments or printouts based on those two different ways. There's lots of different things that you can add through here. As you can see, a lot of these things are easy to drag and drop. Now, just as this is a beginner's tutorial here today, I just want you to get you to start playing with this and feeling comfortable with this. If you take a look over at the view, I want to show you a few different options. I'm going to go ahead and close this window down. Notice that we have full page view. If I click on it, then you have less distraction, kind of you can focus on just the notes for that page. I'm going to go ahead and click off of it. We have our dock to desktop, and it goes way over to the side here, full page view. So just some different options how you see it. You can set up your page color. So if you wanted a page color differently here, you can go and have lines in the background. So maybe you want grid lines on it. You can just simply click on each of it. And it doesn't go for every page. You can set up each page differently. So maybe if you're using things for math or drawing, you might want to have some of these different options on it. You've probably noticed you don't have to go ahead and save it. It is going to save automatically. So if I go ahead and close this down and open things up again, so if I go back up to open the app, it pops up open. It never asked me to save it. It was saving as I went along. Now, I just touched on the surface, as I mentioned before, of this powerful app here. There's so much more it can do, especially if you're working with other Microsoft products like Word or Excel or Outlook. You can blend everything into to get together and make it even more powerful. I want to know what you are looking for to learn about OneNote, and I can create more videos about this. I am going to be coming out soon with the next video here as I dive into some of the other features that can be used with this Microsoft OneNote app. So thanks for watching this week on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.